Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, wargamers and YouTubers, this is Boom Shaka Boxer. Last time, we introduced the Tier 4 carriers, the Langley and Hosho, and emphasized on some of the national differences between the US and Japanese carriers. But as we move on to the Bogue and Zuiho, one of the most important concepts to start identifying on are the loadouts. This wasn't an option at Tier 4, but becomes increasingly pivotal from Tier 5s and up.
Battle starts.
Autopilot mode enabled. Waypoint
Your success
reached.
as a CV player before you even queue up into a match will largely be impacted by your recognition of the purpose of your loadout, followed by your ability for decent execution of that purpose. We begin the Tier 5 carrier series by introducing the Zuiho first, and once again we want to establish a sound qualitative understanding of the matchup. In terms of ship performance relative to the Bogue, the Zuiho has the higher speed and the lower detection range, affording it the privilege of aggressively repositioning itself and capitalizing on the changing battlefield. But one of the things that boggles down captains at this tier is their inability to understand the matchup against the Air Superiority Bogue, which is why this replay was particularly fun for me to produce. In a moment, we'll see that I'm actually matched up against the Air Superiority or AS Bogue in the north, and hopefully for you young bloods or struggling captains, you'll pick up on some of the things to look out for to increase your probability of success. But let's talk about the team matchup first. I find myself in yet another 2 vs 2 carrier battle on the map Strait, with the added bonus of no destroyers on the enemy team. Bingo! We get first contact, and instead of flying into mutual enemy AA range, I'm just going to opt to bomb their frontliners. 2 additional things I pick up. We spot one fighter to the north, meaning this Bogue can either be a stock or AS loadout. I also make a mental note of the Cleveland, a ship I do not want to engage until late game, if I have to, due to its superior AA rating. And as I finish up my second strike against the Furutaka, I notice the 2 fighters, and can confirm now that I'm up against an AS Bogue.
Group 2, standing by for instructions, over.
The Bogue captain finally notices my planes, and it's here where I have to start making reads.
Group 5 returning to ship.
Pay attention to his decision making. The first read is that he's chasing my torpedo bomber with his first fighter. The second read is that he's chasing my fighter with his follow-up fighter. Normally, this would be a good option had he been more alert and closed the distance earlier, but because he's late, I'm now in the best possible position as the Zuiho captain and capitalize on a strafe. Thank you, announcer. Off to a great start indeed. And because of the momentary speed boost from the strafe, coupled with the qualitative faster fighter, I can avoid his second fighter, which had I opted to engage in a straight out dogfight, I would lose 100% of the time. But I noticed he's still chasing into friendly airspace, and if you reach, I teach. Beautiful mutual AA from my team's battleships and cruisers takes out his second fighter squadron.
Awaiting instructions. Group 2, returning to ship. Group 2, returning. Group 3, airborne.
A lot of people suggest immediately alpha striking an enemy AS captain from the start, but there are opportunity costs for taking the time to reach him and huge repercussions if you fail in the first strike. Instead, hopefully here I can show you what a long-term strategy looks like, and you can pick up some things to add to your game. Remember, nothing puts more pressure on an AS loadout than seeing his frontliners fall. And as I prep up my second strike, I survey and reassess the situation. The battlefield is a constantly changing situation, and the mark of a great CV captain is knowing where and when to apply your limited and timely supporting air force. The enemy Cleveland is isolated and has overextended to B flag, so that's a threat that I thankfully don't have to engage late game anymore, as my teammates should be able to take advantage of him. Alternatively, there are 2 battleships in a narrow channel, and this presents a great opportunity for me to land some good hits in. We finally spot the Bogue, and unfortunately for him, he recognized his predicament too late and will not have the speed to avoid our frontliners. Again, frontliner pressure, best pressure against our AES captain.
Group 2, standing by for instructions, over. Group 4, standing by for instructions, over. Group 3, returning.
Although I recognized a great opportunity against the battleships, my lackluster execution and an earlier recognition from the Bogue enables his fighters to get into power positioning against my torpedo bombers. Here, he locks up my torpedo bombers before my fighter is able to help, and by the time I try to adjust my fighter into the best strafing angle, the opportunity vanishes and my torpedo bombers get blown out of the sky. In this situation, a better choice would have been to lock up his 6th fighter squadron with my 4th fighter squadron, and potentially saving 1 or 2 bombers. But that is the beauty of this particular replay. In the first aerial engagement, you got a chance to see what it looks like to be on top of your game and be in the proper positioning to execute the plan. And in the second aerial engagement, you got a chance to witness the consequences of what a mistiming and improper positioning looks like. I do have to put a disclaimer here and say that there was a noticeable skill differential between me and the Bogue, and so your expectations as a player should be somewhere in between the former and latter situations. You won't always be able to achieve those optimal strafing angles, but at the same time, you have to try to avoid improperly positioning yourself. Positioning, positioning, positioning. That is the name of the game. And now, with at least one enemy CV down, my objectives begin to shift to me dealing the most significant blow to the enemy team while mitigating potential ship-based AA retaliation against my bombers. So I'll be looking for isolated enemies with less than optimal AA ratings.
Group 4, taking fire. Group 2, airborne. Group 3, we're under attack. Group 4, returning.
Here, I engage the enemy cruisers but come into their AA range at a bad angle, and with them making enough adjustments, I end up losing one of my torpedo bombers.
Our team has taken the lead. Group 3, returning to ship. Group 2, target destroyed. Group 2, awaiting instructions.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
I begin to pay particular attention to the enemy squadrons here, and it's because I'm trying to see how active the enemy Zuiho is. He's Control A clicking his squadrons, meaning there may be opportunities down the line for me to out-micro him, but more importantly, I want to know where his flights will fly to after he's dropped. And based on the direction he's going, it appears he's actually still in his spawn location. And a moment later, we see that he still hasn't moved at all. Another opportunity that I can capitalize on.
We're under attack.
Group 3, airborne. Group 2, target destroyed. Group 4, maintaining present course.
Group 5, returning to ship.
I land one manual drop on him, notice the repair, and can follow up later with a flooding. But more importantly, for whatever reason, he still hasn't moved, and this is something that IGN torpedo bombers can deal especially well with, considering their converging strike angles.
returning. Group 3 taking fire. Group 4, we are under attack. Group 3 returning. Group 4 returning to ship.
Enemy aircraft carrier blown up.
I need fire support. We'll go.
Group 5 airborne.
During the preloading session, I made a note that the New Mexico at F4 had the lowest AA rating of the 3 remaining battleships, but because of the proximity of the 2 closer battleships, I opt to engage them first.
Ready for takeoff. Group 3 ready. Group 2 maintaining present course. Group 4 ready for takeoff. Group 3 airborne. Group 4 maintaining present course.
Wow, look at that Warspite salvo. Beautiful patience on his part, but better execution to cleanly finish the Allied Farragut in one salvo, not giving him the opportunity to properly position his torpedoes.
We are under attack.
Group 5 awaiting instructions.
Group 3 returning. Group 2 target destroyed. Group 2 awaiting instructions. Group 4 returning to ship.
Group 5 taking fire. Group 5 engaging enemy. Group 5 returning.
Group 2 target destroyed. Group 2 standing by for instructions. Over.
I had originally thought our New York had the match in the bag after my 3-hit torpedo salvo, but you'll see here the classical case as to the dangers of presenting your broadside in a battleship versus battleship engagement. And what earlier had appeared to be a lopsided advantage eventually turns into a fight for his life without New York against the Warspite.
Group 4 we are under attack.
Yikes.
Group 2 awaiting instructions.
Group 5 ready for takeoff.
Group 3 returning.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Unfortunately for me here, I recognized the kill confirmation late and ended up overkilling with my second wave.
Group 2 returning to ship. Group 4 returning to ship. Group 4 returning.
Group 5 maintaining present course.
Considering how the Warspite played, I would imagine had he had more support from the 2 New Mexico that went off chasing a carrier instead, this match may have been closer. But there's no such thing as what ifs and what nots. You only get one chance at what is, and what I see is 3 lone battleships not communicating on the same page. 3 opportunities for me to still be relevant with my depleted strike force in this late game situation.
Group 3 airborne.
Group 5 we're under attack.
Group 4 ready.
Group 5 destroyed.
Group 4 maintain maintaining present course. Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over. Group 4, taking fire. Group 3, we are under attack.
Our victory is in sight.
Battle ends in
Group
5
3,
minutes.
returning
Unfortunately
to
for
ship.
me here, I queued up the command for a drop late, and my 4 squadron bomber ended up doing another fail loop, causing me to lose 1 bomber.
Group 2, airborne.
Our team has taken the lead.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
Standing by for instructions. Over. Group 3, ready for takeoff. Group 4, ready. Group 3, airborne. Group 4, maintaining present course. Group 3, awaiting instructions. Group 4, taking fire. Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over. Group 3, we are under attack. Group 3, destroyed. Group 4, returning to ship.
Again, another fail loop to my displeasure. Make sure you execute your drop before you enter the circle.
Group 2, awaiting instructions.
One thing I failed to do in my 2 previous attempts, and you'll see it finally in my last engagement with this New Mexico, is to use the fighter first to occupy the AA guns, and thus safeguard my bombers. Unless the enemy player manually targets my bombers, ship-based AA will prioritize the first squadron in the AA aura.
Group 2, we're under attack.
It's the 4th quarter of the game, and I gotta land 2 free throws. The fighter is soaking up the AA, and my torpedo bombers are getting ready.
Instructions. Over. Group 2, awaiting instructions.
Enemy battleship foundered.
Clutch! Kraken unleashed on the Zuiho. GG. I hope you captains enjoyed this video and picked up some reads that you can add to your gameplay. Feel free to ask any questions, and if you enjoy this kind of content, leave a like, comment, or subscribe. In the next episode, I'll be demonstrating the Strike Bogue, which is my favorite ship in the game. Until then, this is Boom Shaka Boxer, signing out.